I got stat correction, Brad.
What?
No, for me.
Oh yeah.
After this, I'm done talking about Indiana versus Kentucky until they play on December, 13th. I'm not stat correcting that if it's wrong. But last week I said that the Oladipo Zeller team beat Kentucky in the tournament. That team actually lost to Kentucky in the tournament. The team that beat Kentucky in the tournament was that 15-16 team. So
Yeah, the
full
Thomas
blown.
Bryant, Yogi.
I
Yeah.
feel full blown stat corrected on the Indiana
It's a
Kentucky
tough look,
ordeal.
dude.
I'm ready to put that behind me, and I'm ready to move forward.
Yeah.
But shout out to the listeners who are correcting me in the comments. Like we welcome that. Like if you see a stat correction in there, like boom, let me know about it. If I see it, I'll bring it up on the show, and obviously we try and catch it. So if Indiana Kentucky is back on an annual basis in college basketball, I will play the Peanuts music. Play the Peanuts music. They're gonna play, I think, for the next 5 or 6 years. I think the next two are at Rupp. Then they play maybe in Indy, and then they play in Bloomington.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can play the music, Jackson.
Yeah. It's back. It's back. I want him to play in football. Really, it's kind of what I want. We
Yeah,
gotta bring back that
that's
football
next.
rivalry
Well,
back.
maybe like we
They
talked
used to play
about.
every year.
That was one of the things I talked about with Mark Rogers when I went on the Voice of College Football show. Was that eventually through like back to football? Here we go. But eventually, at some point in the Signetti era, like you're going to start strategically scheduling these non-conference games to be bigger matchups. Is that Indiana Kentucky matchup something where they explore to make it on an annual, semi-annual basis? And that is a Big Ten SEC matchup. It's quote unquote a rivalry game, and it's one that's very winnable for Indiana year after year after year. I would be surprised if they weren't trying to explore that, at least on the Indiana end. I don't know how much I'd be jumping at that from a Kentucky side though.
I mean, I hope Kentucky's like, oh, we're SEC and pound our chests and take it for like a 30-year deal, and we just take them to the Thunderdome and probably win that series about 25-5. Probably what I'd guess for the next 30 years.
But no, for Indiana basketball, Brad, we talked about last week that the driving dog gift started to circulate. That has typically meant that we're getting Indiana basketball news shortly. Well, we're here pretty much a week later,
I didn't
and
hear
there has
anything.
been no news.
Oh,
So
okay.
no, that's kind of my point. Is like
No news is good news.
no. Well, I was gonna say like that's why I was kind of like we keep getting matched up with the Pacers, which is like super annoying for us. Like this is the first time we flexed the show, but obviously like going on Tuesday this week, getting through the holiday weekend. Maybe instead of a Monday news dump, there's a Tuesday news dump tomorrow. Potentially a bunch of different things come out. Like I wouldn't be surprised if maybe we get another Bison promo or the Bison reveal or something like that, or we get some sort of news that gets slowed up by the holiday weekend. But yeah, I don't want to say that you can just stop paying attention to the burner army. I think that would be wrong, but I just think that maybe the holiday weekend slowed up some of the news that we potentially getting. It's still kind of like open-ended what that meant.
I have news. Tate Connerway withdrew from the NBA draft. Of that.
I was getting to that.
Oh, man. Breaking news.
Yeah, he did. I didn't even know he was in the NBA draft, but
that's
yeah,
how
Conway,
I know he's for sure starting.
Yeah.
Him, Reed Bailey, and Tucker DeVries are the only guys on that roster that are for sure going to start. Lamar Wilkerson probably has a really good chance to start, but I don't think it's guaranteed at all.
Well, when I went through the roster to kind of like to do my like semi deep dive that I didn't get completely through, I ended up at Conaway, Wilkerson, Dorn, DeVries, and Bailey.
Yeah, with what they have, because Bailey's clearly because they didn't bring any fives, so Bailey, you got to shift everyone down.
Well, but then
Bailey and Sam Alexis are the fives, and then
if you bring back Goody and Leal, then there's your roster because once you go over 13, it starts affecting rev share, and they're not gonna mess with rev share for an extra guy. So it's interesting. I'm not married to that, but it's just like they're small and not exactly.
That's what it's going to be. It's going to be Reed Bailey at the 5, even though he's a 4. They're going to go small ball, and I think Tucker from what I was hearing from a lot of Drake and West Virginia fans, Tucker plays the 4 typically, and they go small. So if he's capable of doing that, he's a grown man. He's like 24 years old. I think he can guard a 21-year-old 6'9" guy. I think he can pull it off. I think he can do. That's literally what it is, though. That's what it comes down to, right? Like him being older, I think helps there. As opposed to having like a little child like Mbako there. And then
do you want to talk about
so,
Mbako, or do you want to just blow right by the fact that he had like 100 points in 3 games?
Who cares? Who cares? No, you want to hear my Mbako NBA? Yeah, he went out. I've always said he's a great scorer, one of the better scorers of the ball I've seen, at least from a shooting perspective. I will say the passing and the dribbling was new to me. Did not see that much at Indiana. He definitely worked on that. That was new.
You think that was a Bucky thing?
The scoring, that was like whatever, dude. Like, who is he guarding? Who is that guy going to guard in the league?
I guess we'll find out.
I guess we'll have to find out, huh? Dalton Connect was 10 times the scorer he was in college and can't see the floor because he refuses to understand rotations on defense. So take that for what you will on where Mbako is going to end up. There's 60 draft picks. There's less than 60 open job opportunities in the NBA in a given year. It's just not set up for success for a guy who wasn't top dog on a top team to find success. It's just not. It's just hard. It's hard. And now if he puts in the work and fixes all these problems and has a great NBA career, I'm gonna root for him. That's gonna be awesome. I hope he's watching. See, man. I hope he I could tell him exactly what he needs to work on. It seemed like from the combine footage he was already working on those things. The handle was a lot cleaner. His awareness from a passing standpoint was a lot better. I saw him make some really nice passes. I don't think I saw one of those at Indiana. And that just comes with like playing random runs, This just comes with playing basketball rather than just like in a system where it's like you're supposed to remember all these rules and stuff. And I think him playing a more flowy type game, I think benefits him. Right?
I agree. But back to this current Indiana basketball team, Brad, this current Indiana basketball team is going to do one of my favorite all-time vibes moves. They're going to Peru. Foreign tour for the Indiana basketball team, August 5th to the 12th. Or no, Puerto Rico. Sorry, I don't know why I wrote down Peru. They're going to Puerto Rico, not Peru.
I was going to say there's no good basketball in Peru.
That's why I was confused. I was thinking Peru all day. I was like, no, but all right. They're going to Puerto Rico, August 5th to August 12th. All great documentaries on Big Ten Network start with a foreign tour. And you could tell me if I'm wrong. I would argue I'm completely right. Like every great basketball team goes on some sort of excursion to get closer as a team. Obviously, this is going to be 11 transfers. And if Leal and Goody end up getting waivers, then you got literally 11 new faces. And then that's not even considering the coaching staff and the new strength and conditioning apparatus and like a lot of new shit going on in Bloomington. So to take all the guys and go on a trip like this, huge deal for chemistry reasons. And like, I love the move. Pumped when I saw that and very excited for those guys to have that experience. But again, like if you're going to watch a documentary about the 2025 Indiana Hoosiers in 30 years, it's going to start with this Puerto Rico trip.
No, I love these trips. I think it's super important that I don't think they did this under Woodson or under Archie, but it's actually super common that teams do this.
Very common.
Steve Alford, I believe, took his team international every year when he was at UCLA. I think it really does help build chemistry off the court, which is very, very important for on the court success, at least in that particular game, where it really does come down to like understanding how a guy is feeling in a moment, right? Like truly knowing the person like that goes a long way when you have all these new faces, that's going to take some time to build up. And I don't know if, a September camp is the best way to manufacture that. I think you got to go a little outside the box here and send the team to Puerto Rico. And they're probably going to play some good and playing professionals, grown men also helps too.
But it's a lot harder to force, and competition does this, but it's a lot harder to have 11 new guys gel when they're all fighting for 5 spots versus like, we kind of don't know really what's going on. Maybe we have an idea, maybe we don't, but you guys are now a team. You're going to go play against grown men. Like and in the meantime, like get your shit done and then go like enjoy the island, like go become teammates. And it's like, that's how you become closer. It's not just like school and class and practice. It's like, what are you doing outside of that? And like, this is a huge opportunity for them. And so like, again, you want to see green flags coming out of your program. Like that's a green flag for me.
I think it's in basketball, it's super important that the team remains super cliquey. Like they only hang out with each other. I think that's super important. Period. Like, I don't need to explain why that's important. It's just goes without saying. It's a very different. Is that the same UCLA team that had a couple guys arrested in China for shoplifting? Yes, it was. LiAngelo Ball, Jalen Hill.
He did not quite bend the corner.
And LiAngelo Ball, Cody Riley, and Jalen Hill all ended up getting in trouble with that, and they had to get bailed out by Donald Trump himself. That was one of the more embarrassing stories coming out of that university in some time. That was a bit like that was like a week, but like that was like so bad. By the way, like they were about to get like in really big trouble by the Chinese government for that. That's like an absolute no, is stealing. And
yeah, it was a huge deal.
And Trump had to step in to like save their lives, basically. And basically, if we're gonna do a little aftermath, like what happened to them? Okay, LiAngelo Ball ended up dropping out of UCLA, became a rapper. Jalen Hill ended up actually going through a lot of like mental stuff around that whole information, and he basically medically retired from the sport entirely. And then Cody Riley stuck it out and went to a Final Four with Mick Cronin in his second year. Yeah,
what a roller coaster!
Starting 5 on that team. Yeah,
that's Pac-12 memory of the week.
Pac-12 memory of the week. LiAngelo Ball, and when that story came out, like I don't want to be like I've been really bad at this when I'm like coming at kids, but like he's not a kid anymore, so I can do this. LiAngelo Ball was definitely the bad egg in that situation, by the way. He 100% somehow just got Cody and Jalen Hill involved in that. I don't know how that happened. That made after that whole thing went down, he basically had to get kicked off the team. UCLA had to miss out on LaMelo Ball and basically made LaMelo Ball kind of untouchable from college programs. So he went abroad, and then, that's how that all went down. That's why LaMelo Ball never played in college. That there was a lot of things that came out of that.
Yeah, it was going to be they basically took LiAngelo just to get LaMelo.
Well, I think they won a national title in high school. I think you're just going to take all 3 of them, to be honest.
Yeah, because they had 2 top 5 NBA draft picks.
No, they had 3. And
it's true. They had Okongwu too.
He went lotto as well.
Not that Chino Hills team was disgusting.
That team had,
they were actually really good.
Like, I had to go see them play in high school. I saw them at Damien High, literally come out. Lonzo hits 2 threes right away. Just right away.
With the wacky release.
Before you could even blink, Lonzo hit 2 threes. They're up 6-0. They're full court pressing the whole time. Eli Scott, Yaneka Nkongwu, a little 8th grade.
I can't believe he hit.
And LiAngelo and Lonzo. Like, that team was insane.
I remember trying to shoot like Lonzo and just be like, how does he? I don't know how he does it.
Yeah, it
just went in. He was cash.
Bad. It's bad for your shooting form to try to shoot like him. Messes everything up. I don't know how.
Yeah, for all the
go across not just in front of your face or like, because usually you put it at like your eyeball or above. Or unless you're shooting at your chest, which is what children do.
No, he literally
shooting at your eyeball or
his body and shoot it like this.
No, but he was going cross face.
Yeah.
Never seen that
Crazy.
before. That was wow.
I'm surprised. I mean,
It
I
went in,
understand what this isn't a Ball family podcast, but I understand why the Spurs stayed away. But that their shot coach, like, you almost just feel like LiAngelo Ball would have been a perfect Spur.
They did. I mean, the Bulls fixed it. They changed his shot, and he was
If Lonzo
really well
Ball
before
was
the knee injury.
if Lonzo Ball was Lonzo Smith and his dad wasn't LeVar Ball, then he would have been an awesome Spur.
It's true. But he had those knee injuries that basically derailed his career. Lonzo had a great career until the knee injuries. He couldn't walk without pain for like a year. It was bad.
I didn't have 2.5 minutes of Lonzo Ball talk written down, but
me neither. Pac-12 memory of
well,
the week.
hey, you said
Abel chat brought it up. So it's like I said, Memorial Day extravaganza. Anything goes. Anything goes in the Memorial Day extravaganza.
That's what I got for this week, Brad.
Just an old trip down memory lane.